going live.
Hello, guys. Hello and welcome to Griefers Pub. This episode, Major League Piracy, will be available on YouTube and Spotify. Tonight, we'll be discussing the 5v5 tournament with Heimdelight of Imperial and Booberry of Ram. Welcome, guys.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
Holy, hey, whoa, hey, guys. All right, I got nothing fun at all. All right.
Elder, it's your turn.
Everyone just, don't do the awkward silencing to me. I hate that. Just like that damn emote.
Could you guys explain really quick to me what is MLP and like a quick, a couple of like words? How would you explain it to someone that doesn't know what it is? I know it's not My Little Pony, even though that's been kind of the like joke around.
I love it.
You know what that is?
What?
I've never heard of My Little Pony in my life.
Oh, he's lying. No way. Is that true?
Okay. So MLP is Major League Piracy. It's a 5v5 tournament format. How exactly do you guys run that? What are the like rules and objectives to each round?
So basically, we tried to bring like a mix of the tack shooter 5v5 round-based formats from other games, like Rainbow Six, Counter-Strike, stuff like that. And we try to bring it in a way into Star Citizen that actually translates into sort of a not 100% realistic, obviously, but a more realistic scenario than you would get out of your normal Star Marine experience, in team elimination or whatever. This is a little bit more theaters of war, right? So basically, we have one team that's the attacker, one team that's the defender. The defenders are on the main ship, and that main big ship, that's what map the teams are playing off of, right? So the attackers need to breach the ship and make it to one of two rooms, which are the objectives, and they need to hold that room for 30 seconds. They need to do that or eliminate all the defenders. So that's their objective. And they would also they start 100 meters from the main ship in their own ship, a Cutlass Blue. So just a backdrop, because a lot of people also don't understand how it all works, is we use free flight. Not any other game modes. Free flight, you can enable multi-crew, which allows you to respawn inside of the ships, and you can just spawn whatever ships you want. And if you get 16 people together, you basically get your own little private lobby. So that's what we've been doing, is we get our own little private lobby full of 16 people. We spawn our own ships and we play out these simulated scenarios where one team's attacking, one team's defending, and then for the defenders, they have to defend these two rooms or eliminate all the attackers within the 5-minute time limit, right? So that's all it is. And each round they switch sides. It's really easy. You literally like, oh, I'm dead. Okay, wait till the round's over. You click what ship you want to spawn in, click deploy, you spawn in it, you have your weapons, and you can go right back out to the next round. So it's like probably, I would say, in my 10-year experience in Star Citizen, the most smooth running event that I've seen. So I think that's pretty much our biggest pride right now, is that without private lobbies, we made our own private lobbies. We made our own entire atmosphere. So we've been doing this the past few months, and it's been a blast.
And the stability's been good.
It runs better than regular Star Marine or the PU. Yeah. So it's pretty wild.
I would argue it probably runs better than AC while people are actually flying through it, because you guys, there's no activity other than you guys on the ground, right?
Right. It's just the two ships, the Cutlass Blue that we use now, and then whatever the main map is that the defenders are defending. And then just to quickly finish up the rule set. So basically, like I was saying, you switch sides every round. It's the first to 3 rounds per map. So if you win 3 rounds on, let's say, a hammerhead, then you would win that map. And then if you win 2 maps out of the 3 maps, we have a pick ban map system as well. There's a pool of 5 maps total. Winning 2 maps means you would win that match. And that's pretty much what we've been doing so far in the tournament. And the games run about an hour long. hour and a half long. If it's a 3-map, really intense game, it might go to it might run closer to 2 hours, but people
Yeah.
still have enjoyed it. So it's definitely an easy event for us to run in terms of overhead. No PU bugs, or there's some bugs, of course, but much better experience than anywhere else in the game for FPS gameplay for sure.
I was going to say, watching the few times that I've been shoutcasting, a lot of the like like FPS desync isn't really noticeable at all, and it's actually really refreshing coming from like a PU standpoint for like a lot of FPS on foot and such. Um, I kind of wish that we had that kind of performance elsewhere, but given time, maybe that'll happen, right? So what do you think has been like? Okay, better question is, how did this whole idea of developing a league start in the first place? Because I know that we've always had like the arena commander modes, but what kind of organization did that take to get that like working?
Uh, so I was talking to Nine and Proto Phantom from LR a while back about possible FPS stuff we could do, and we were looking at control. Maybe trying to get people into control to get some lobbies with a bunch of FPS players and get something
Yep.
going. And they mentioned to me that you could do this multi-crew free flight stuff. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm thinking in my head, it can't run any better than the stuff we're dealing with right now. So, I don't know. I'm just looking for something,
Mhm.
just enjoyable, not something crazy, but then control ran so bad that I was like, you know what? What do we got to lose? Let's go check out this multi-crew free flight thing. And they
Right.
showed me how it worked, and I was like, yo, I'm like, you guys, this is, this is actually doable. This is great. And I was like, we started shooting ideas back and forth on how we could make it into this like tech shooter thing, and try and recreate these scenarios and make it enjoyable, like a game mode, And that
Yeah.
was when we came up with the rule set, and then we started inviting other people on, such as yourself, Booberry, and getting all these other people involved. We have a huge rep list right now from a lot of different orgs, and I think it's probably one of the healthiest competitive things I've seen in like any video game community, period. So I'm like, think that, if we can all keep this momentum going, it's really healthy for the game and the community in general. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Agreed.
that's
Especially
where it's
because,
at right now.
I mean, when it comes to like competitive leagues in Star Citizen, what are some of the other things out there? There's some unofficial ones from orgs, but I think the only one that's really recognized by Star Citizen right now is Atmo Esports, and that's typically like racing, not a lot of combat. Maybe you have fire. Is it Fight and Flight, right? That was the one I'm trying to think
Fight or
of.
flight,
But
yeah, or flight,
yeah,
flight or no, fight or flight, yeah,
Fight or Flight, Fight and
yeah.
Flight.
That's it. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I've definitely noticed that when it comes to like competitive stuff within the PvP community, it always tends to be to me it seems like it's very healthy. All of a sudden,
It
everyone's
is. Yeah.
getting along well, and there's like nobody is like super toxic about it from what I've experienced so far. I mean, obviously, I haven't been a part of it, but I've definitely been close to the community during it.
Yeah. To be honest, so VCR says, I can't believe they did Fight or Flight in the PU, but maybe there was a good reason for that. I wonder if that was primarily so it was less setup and less chances of just randoms getting into the lobbies, going into like
I thought the reason why I
organization.
did Fight or Flight is because they did in the PU because they didn't start doing like the where you could queue in on lobbies together and stuff like that. Like there was too many. Oh, plus
That might have been the
there
case.
wasn't an ammo map yet, and it was an atmospheric battle. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
that's what it was.
Why did that NPC in the background just? It's a I don't know. You can ask him later.
Off the
Uh,
floor, yeah.
So I
It's
was
meant
gonna
to be
say,
entertainment.
can we actually go check out a highlight reel that we had shared by heimdelight? Because I'm very interested in kind of like I'm very excited to actually check
Fresh
this
off
out.
of a 3-round win streak and a comeback on the Hammerhead, PAX is looking to take their momentum.
This is from the first weekend, or is this second weekend? Pax Mortis versus Phoenix Operations was the first weekend when I wasn't able to shoutcast, correct?
Right, right. So this was the one where I went and got all the camera angles, took everyone's POVs, and tried to compile just a really good looking highlight reels to show everyone on what we do, and and how we play the league and everything, and the games play out.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look at
Listen
the
to the
this
Carrick,
is on the
where they
Carrick.
may
This
win
one
the
you said was
match.
really good, so we're gonna check this out first.
Yeah, footsteps for port side door.
Count him.
2 port.
Down.
Starboard 1.
Starboard down. 1. Grenade, grenade.
Get some really nice angles there, by the way.
I know, right? The
All right, get
music.
down the hallway.
I love the music.
Stairs.
Smiley's down to my left, to your left, Ninja.
Yeah. Oh
It,
shit.
yes, it is. It is a currently like it is a remix by the Valkyries.
With the rounds tied 1-1, both teams switch to defending the cockpit.
That is a really cool point of view right there through the.
I
clouds.
know. Yeah, that was cool.
Go finish off this last match, and then we'll go back into a couple more questions here, guys. Go with that.
Oh shit! Phoenix gets tied up. Oh my god!
With the rounds tied 2-2 on the Carrick, Pax Mortis looks at their first possible win in Major League Piracy. Can Phoenix Operations hold them off and get in another map?
So, do you think we should
Oh,
watch
he falls right on his head.
right there?
I love it.
That's great.
Heaven's down.
Oh, that is a nice shot right there. Look at that.
They're crouching.
I'm gonna open the door.
Nice. Good job, Mac.
Oh, there's Mac.
How the
Mac's Night
fuck?
City.
Good stuff, Ninja.
I won't do it.
All right, I got 1 med pen left.
Okay.
Left side, left side. Got him.
Nice.
Nice. I just used my
Stuff,
left
Mac.
med pen.
I think that's
Good
round.
stuff.
Pax Mortis wins their first Major League Piracy.
So just I'm going to stop it right there. Let's go back over to the other panel, just so we're also making sure that we're giving a shout out here. If you guys haven't checked out the MLP Discord, I'm going to just post that in chat really quick. Let me get the link for that.
What team was who on? I wasn't on it. We weren't. We didn't play. Dead Frag You guys can hear me, right? Deadfrag was hosting it on his channel though for shoutcasting it.
We did a little bit of shoutcasting the last couple
Yeah.
of Saturdays, and it's actually been really fun. Kind of see, it's been fun seeing the whole organization behind the scenes and how it's slowly been progressively getting more and more. Like it's evolving. We went from Discord screen shares to VCR. Actually had this really cool setup where he could do multiple points of view using an Ingress server. And I think it was the second round in the tournament yesterday. We actually got to see that and play. It was really awesome. Like switching from like point A to point B on like the teams, and then seeing like a split screen panel down the center. It was really awesome.
Yeah, you guys are always doing it while I'm at work. Like I work
Sorry, dude.
Saturdays. I'm like always like disappointed that I can't. I put it on, but I can't watch
Mhm.
it like intently. You know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So maybe my next question is, what challenges have you guys faced when setting up the FPS tournaments?
Boo, if you wanna you wanna take that one.
It's honestly, it's a lot of it is just scheduling and making sure people can, teams can field 5 guys at the right times, especially with how many like kind of support staff we need for each round, between
Yeah.
refs and shoutcasters and guys making sure the time is going correctly and everything else. It's not just 2 teams of 5, it's 2 teams of 5 plus probably an additional, I would say like
Hmm.
seven people involved. And then you really need to make sure you have a few extras to lock out that free for it lobby, because the whole thing kind of falls apart if you can't lock that lobby down.
How many times did we have someone interrupt the? I think it was yesterday. We had a couple of interruptions during the middle of a match. Where I think I remember being in the turret and then all of a sudden seeing the 30K when I switched back because I heard like gunshots on the actual stream itself, and then everybody was heading back to menu at that point.
Yeah, yesterday that was unfortunate. It happened like I
Hmm.
think like 3 times in that second match.
Yeah,
And it's just, the fact that we don't have private lobbies, because if some guy crashes or disconnects for any reason, the game sees a free fight lobby with 15 people in it and that slot gets filled immediately.
yeah,
And it's pretty much back to menu at that point, because you now have a guy in some fighter with 2 ships in the map. He's going to shoot one of them and then,
right. Of course, there's
blow it up
nothing
then.
else to really see there. Like you see your target that's blue and there's nobody at the pilot seat, you're just gonna shoot it. Maybe even if you're
Yeah.
like just practicing and trying to do like a little bit of like positionals on a target. I've seen that happen a few times, and that's okay. So aside from like the private lobbies, how do you think that CIG could improve Arena Commander as a whole for tournament style game modes? I think what
Um,
I'll add the first one and just say like a proper spectator mode would be amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
spectator mode. I mean, that's but they've been talking about using adding a spectator mode in AC for a while too. So
Yep.
I'm actually kind of surprised that hasn't been added. Like I know they got that main screen. It's almost like a because you got that camera view of
Yeah.
the
Where it's like
map, but
overhead of the
yeah,
ships and you can see like them, and
but
then
yeah,
that's where you join the like
that's a
multi-crew, right?
definite must is a spectator mode for anything, right? Because
Yep.
you could have somebody just spectate you flying in general and even use that for like training purposes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
100%.
a general mode where you can move around freely and then quickly switch to someone's POV could make any spectating experience improve tenfold. For yeah, it's a night and day difference for sure. Because right
It,
now we have to get specific camera angles, and then to move the camera around, you got to hold Z while you move your mouse, hold F4 to
Mhm.
move the arrow keys.
You're just
It's like
like
that,
playing
or
VR with your fingers,
yeah,
right? You're just
well,
yeah,
trying
and
to
it's not.
like
figure out like what to do.
it's you're doing some magic. I'm telling you, it's wild
Mhm.
right now. But hopefully in the future when we get the spectator tools, yeah, that would be a big help. Streamlining the spectator experience for sure.
Yeah, not
I
only
think
that, but you have I'm sure with the using the F4, over the shoulder view or whatever, that there must be times when you had an issue where the camera gets obstructed somehow, even though what you're viewing is in front of it, right? Because I know I've run across that
Yeah.
problem a few times at least.
Yeah, there's almost like some weird collision with the actual players in the map and the camera perspective. Sometimes it'll get bumped into
Mhm.
the physics of the ship,
Yeah.
or you kind of just lose the angle and you got to get back into it. And then since you are using Z and F4, I know I for sure Alt F4'd on accident just out of force of habit one time yesterday, which was amazing.
Jeez. Yeah, that's rough.
We're getting griefed. The VCR player says
I
that
was just, I was the griefers getting griefed in like an AC like game mode. So one thing that I would love to see if they had an option is at the end of like each match, or I don't know, like having a kill feed that's actually a little bit more static for a little bit longer, so you can actually call out like you know JDK kills heimdelight in like first match or something of the sort, right? That'd be really handy to have. Same with even having a form of like logs where you can actually see how many kills people got per match, or just like an overall match per map, because every time that you start like a new round you get like a new ship and all that. So I think that would be really neat if they could
Yeah.
prioritize things like that.
Well, and right now we're launching as one party, so all the kills against each other are actually counting negatively towards us. So,
Yeah, that's true because it's
and
free
then there's
flight.
no medical gameplay either. So you kill somebody, they're dead. You can't
Mhm.
res or do any of that stuff.
which I wonder if that's like an arena commander specific thing where it's like they don't have medical gameplay like enabled for AC as a whole, because it's not in any game mode as far as I know. So it's like I
Yeah.
think that's just something. I mean, that kind of is in line with the original experience they wanted out of Arena Commander. They wanted a simulator and, something to do while you're in quantum from one place to another, for those who remember that kind of stuff. And I mean,
Mhm.
it's still kind of in line with that. It does give you that warm up ability for FPS or flight gameplay. It's just, yeah, it's definitely not the easiest thing to work with at the moment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But at the same time, like the best FPS experience I've had in Star Citizen has been in Free Flight of all things.
Mhm.
I love it.
That's just because it's like a smaller amount of load per server, so it makes perfect sense that that's where you would want to host something like this. If you tried to do this in the PU, can you imagine how much of a disaster that would be?
Well,
People desyncing
even
all
just
over left
doing
and right.
events like this in the PU takes so much longer because
Hmm.
you're not respawning with your gear. I mean, every time you
Right.
die, you have to re-equip everything and you're dealing with the lag there.
Yep.
That was literally what when we got in that lobby with Nine and the guys back that way back when, and I said, like, I just respawned with my gear in the turret, and they were like, yeah, and I go, oh my god. I was like, dude, you can do so much with this. I was like, this is
Hmm.
insane. And we started, like, man, I'm telling you guys, the guys, for everyone from every org has put in so much love to this whole entire league so far. Like, the amount of ideas we have going forward. Um, we're waiting obviously to see what custom lobbies gives us
Yeah.
specifically, because we might have to just launch into a free flight custom lobby thing and do this all again. Maybe we could be on different teams and it makes things easier, right? But
Hmm.
yeah, in general, we don't know exactly what we have to work with custom lobbies. Hopefully we get the same amount of flexibility we get now, because there is a lot of stuff we could do even with what the tools we have now. Like I might have said, free flight might not be the easiest to work with, but in the contrast, like you're saying, like Boo's saying, it's the best FPS. And what I'm
Hmm.
going to say here is, it's like actually one of the most flexible things, because you have atmospheric maps to work with, you have these zero G maps to work with, and the fact that you can spawn ships, have FPS gameplay all in one environment is actually, like, kind of crazy when you think about it. That's a lot of freedom for us to work with here. So it's much better than the tools we've been given for PU by a long
Yeah.
shot. I was,
Agreed.
I've tried doing FPS events in the PU, and it's just like the setup's incredibly tedious, and there's a million bugs, and
So
it
you've
doesn't
basically
give you
been
good
waiting.
simulation.
You've basically
Yeah.
been waiting to really be able to do what you're doing now. For thinking, I'm assuming that you were planning on doing this either in a private lobby they were eventually going to add to AC, right, or in the PU, and you were just waiting for that to be able to happen to be able to really set something up. Um, I guess as well as you've been doing now. I'm assuming.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people have. I don't think it's just me. I think, the private lobbies have been out of the game for so long that it's been something that people have been asking. It's just a no-brainer that we need at this point. So I think
I wonder
the
what the
fact we're getting it was
roadblock is.
amazing.
Yeah, I don't know what the real roadblock is on creating private lobbies. If that's like I don't know anything about developing a game, so
Yeah, I'm just happy they're coming next patch. Apparently, I'm just
Yeah.
are they? No, they're
huge-
not. They said
Yeah,
that
that's. I
322,
thought
didn't
that's
they?
what they said. No. So, okay, I'm gonna give a quick history here. I'll try and condense it as fast as I can. So
No.
they did
Take your time. Take your time.
they did that Arena Commander ISC 1 and 2 with Bunton, right? I don't know if you guys remember that. In that, they had like these paper, multi-page little things explaining what they wanted to do with the new version of Arena Commander, and they had 3 phases. The first phase was the original revamp, the UI, all this stuff, which does make things easier, by the way, much easier than before, and it's functional, so that's a step up, obviously. And then the next thing that they do is they're supposed to add in private lobbies. That's phase 2, and get this like a little bit more polish in there from my understanding. And then phase 3 is going to be, all right, we got the private lobbies, we got the UI, let's start dumping content into Arena Commander. So I think once we get these private lobbies, if they stay true to this 3-phase approach that they went through in this ISC a while back in 2023, I think we're going to see a lot more things in Arena Commander. Like maybe when Squadron 42 releases, we'll get an Idris map in Arena Commander, right? Because they said they wanted to add more PU locations and ship locations, which I think is the best thing you could do for this game. It is
the
like
Idris would be cool.
Yeah, make things memorable for players. So like, because the whole idea is the game's so dynamic, there's so much going on that you want to give players anything they can grab onto to say like, okay, I know what this is. I might not know anything else, but I know what this is. And that's like something that I already experienced. I love telling this story because like other people tell me that they go through it too sometimes. Like I brought one of my friends from other FPS games. He plays an EMP for the Major League Piracy Tournament now, Juice. He came in and played these scrims and he loved it. He was like, man, this run's actually way better than the rest of the game. He's like, this is a lot of fun, like the 5v5 stuff. And he had no idea what a reclaimer was, no idea what the 890 was. And now he does. And one day we went in the PU and we raided a reclaimer with like 4 guys all in FPS gear on, and we like 2v4'd them and took all their loot and their gear. And he was like, man, that was lit. He was like, and I'm so glad I did the scrims because I had no idea I'd have no idea where I was on that ship if I didn't do the scrims. So like MLP, the whole league, the scrims and stuff that we were doing, the pickup games, him doing the reclaimer scrims helped him in the persistent universe too. Like he understood so that's another part of the league that I really want to do. Like that's my main goal personally, is I want to like bring a good experience to the community. Something that actually helps people. It's like a good gateway for people to get into the game who are FPS oriented, and maybe they can even learn the ships and start getting into piloting with some other stuff. So that's my main thing, because like I love the pickup games. I love this whole community atmosphere. I think it's like really, really healthy for everyone. I've seen a lot of players go from like literally not knowing the maps, not understanding basic gun stuff, to like becoming really good at all of this in the course of a couple months doing this. So it's like, I think it makes a big difference personally.
I don't know. Are we getting the maps, like the FPF maps next? Is that coming in 323 or is that postponed? The FPS maps. You know what I'm saying? For like ships and stuff like that?
Oh, the interior maps. I do believe that it's being implemented, but it'll be limited. So it'll be for, I believe, some of the basic ships. Like I know they were showing off the Carrack interior and a few other like vessels, but it's going to be something they progressively have to work on.
Man, what would be really cool is for the like shoutcasting portion, right? Is first of all, obviously spectator mode, because then you don't have to worry about camera collision or anything like that. Plus, you don't have to worry about any type of third-party video streaming, right? Because a person who's shoutcasting can just literally jump between the different screens. but it would also be cool to have that mini map, I think, for like shoutcasting, so that way they can kind of like put that on the screen of the, you know, I think it would just add to it. It would really add to it. It'd be really cool to be able to give a like visual representation of where you are on the ship when you're, you know, during the event.
Yeah. So there was actually some chatter. I think it was VCR had brought up the idea of like an overhead map, like you would see in like a CS tournament, or even some of the others that have like that overhead where it shows the player positionals and such, right? That'd be really cool. I don't think AC is really built for that, but that would be really fucking neat. Sorry about the bad language. I know that's one for YouTube, but that's okay. Whatever. Um, I would just love to see more focus and
100%.
priority for the FPS community as a whole. I mean, instead of getting, Sniper Glenn, getting something else would be nice, right? You know what I mean?
So
I know Heim likes the idea of Sniper Glint, right?
Oh yeah, I am all about turning this game into Battlefield 2042.
oh, thank you for the
That would
follow, by the way.
work really well.
Mhm.
Um,
By the way, so I have a. What were we gonna say? You say it
no,
first.
please. I
Okay, I
lost
was
my train
gonna
of thought.
say once the whole invitational, you guys have finals next weekend, correct?
Yeah.
Do we have any idea of like what's going to be happening with Major League Piracy post tournament? Are you guys planning to do like a losers bracket for the tournament, or what else might be
So
like, on the schedule?
for next Saturday, we're going to try to do the third place fight before the final fight, and hopefully we can get that to line up.
Hmm.
Other than that, after this tournament's over, like this was very much a kind of proof of concept. There was just a small amount of teams of guys that were pretty reliable doing this.
Yeah.
Make sure we're able to get the shoutcasting down, the refing down, the rules, kind of the systems of just how easily is it to replicate this every time and how quickly can we get it done.
Hmm.
So when 3.23 goes live, we're able to do, a 16 or 32 team tournament, probably similar format, maybe change the rules a little bit. And if the EVA changes are coming in as good as we all kind of hope they are, maybe doing 0G ship battles as well. It's kind of same format, 5v5 attack defend, but the ships are soft deathed or fully off or whatever, so you're kind of floating around in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be nice with the new EVA.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like
Okay.
I was saying, we have so many options going forward. It's just a matter of, I think, our big thing after this first tournament is I do have a lot of people asking me to get involved with whatever the next tournament we have is, and I
Mhm.
hope we could do something like Boo's saying, 16 or 32, maybe get some double elimination, that way teams can get going. And if we get
Mhm.
enough people involved, like I think the end goal, I think something we should ideally shoot for is to try and give people sort of a tier list, because there is definitely like some people who are more practiced in it, and newer teams who come in don't understand certain
Yep.
parts of the maps and stuff like that, and I think it's really healthy to get them up against people who are in a similar situation rather than like against a team who knows everything all the time, obviously, just like any other game. So if we get enough involvement going forward, I think it'd be
Yeah.
cool to have like 2 divisions, 3 divisions, and have a league where every week a team plays a couple matches or something, and then there's playoffs and a championship, whatever. I think that's like the ultimate goal, for a few of us. I think that would be pretty cool to pull off, but that road, like I said, require a lot of involvement and support and stuff from a lot of people. So we're trying to get all that in place. I think we have a lot of it in place already, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's there's nothing but good things, nothing but you know um, uphill for us at this point, as far as I could see. So
I did notice that the first time that we were doing the shoutcasting, we had Bunton in there, and he seemed kind of interested in the concept. So I'm hoping that maybe we'll bring some interest from CIG into this project, and seeing something a little bit more like mainstream that would help with this would be pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I just wanted
Um,
to jump on the
mhm.
comment that River said. Can we all admit they did a better job than Atmo Esports, LMFAO? so I just kind of jumping on that. So so you guys did such a good job, and if Atmo Esports is able to, get in with CIG the way they have been, I think at some point you probably should too. At some point, I don't,
Yeah, we're working on that for sure. CIG
because that'd be
watched
cool.
both the first week and last week or
Yeah, I
yesterday's
saw that.
matches.
That's
Mhm.
awesome, man. That's big
Um,
news.
it's been pretty funny because even their reaction to what we're doing was the same as a lot of the other orgs that me or Nine or heimdelight reached out to, where I send them the original message and like the video clip and whatnot. And they're like, "You're doing fucking what? FPS and free flight?" And they're like, "Yeah, trust me, like it works. Like just check it out."
What are you guys doing? You're just like pointing guns at each other, like in front of spaceships, or like how does that work?
They're like,
Yeah.
oh, you could get out of the turrets. It's like,
So I have a question.
You-
So do you guys
Sorry.
still have the same issues in the actual FPS portion of AC where like the desync and when you jump and things like that? Does that still happen? And
Yeah.
those aren't issues when you're in free flight.
No, not nearly as bad. Like
That's
in like
interesting.
Star Marine, for example, like I'll still reload empty magazines like sometimes 2 or 3 times in a
Mhm.
row.
Yep.
And then you get shot in the head by heimdelight and you're just like, oh fuck this.
Pretty much.
But
Yeah.
that's just funny that the mode that's meant for it doesn't function as well for it as the mode that's not meant for it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what surprised me when Heim and Nine reached out. I was like, huh? And then I came and played with them one night. I was like, I'm in, like, let's go.
That is really cool. It's funny that you guys discovered that. So the other thing and I don't know if you had mentioned this because I've been keeping my ADHD brain at bay, so I've been hearing most of what you're saying. But so when you go into free flight, how are how's the gear? The gear is just something you have at all times.
Yeah, so you equip your FPS loadout and like you go to control first and set your FPS loadout, and then you just go into free flight and spawn a ship and it just pulls your FPS loadout into free flight.
Oh, that's awesome. I wonder if that was intended. Uh, Either way,
I
that's
have no
cool.
idea.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Have you guys what about an Atmo infiltration type scenario? Because on those Atmo maps you can land.
But
Yeah.
the issue is that you're just restricted to having elevators and things that actually reach down to the ground, you know?
Yeah,
Whereas
okay,
like
yeah.
with
well,
EVA, you actually have all these opportunities to
Well, not
what were you gonna
necessarily.
say, Heim? Go for it. I want to hear what Heim had to say.
I mean, I think there's some cool, you know, you could still get some cool stuff done because the thing is, in a lot of those ships, there's a limited amount of spawn points, right? And what you could do is,
Mhm.
like I was saying earlier, we have a lot of ideas. There's a lot of stuff that we want to work on, but um, that you could put a ship on each side of like the ground, like the ammo map is Maker's Point, right?
Yep.
You could put the ships, you could spawn 2 big ships, put them on each side of Maker's Point, and have like a team elimination where people just you're on this ship, spawn on that ship. You're on this team, spawn on the other ship, and whichever
Right.
team gets into that ship and self destructs it and holds it first wins. It's never been done before, so we don't know what plays out and feels good and is enjoyable from a player standpoint and looks good from a spectator standpoint. The reason we went with this first format is because it checked both boxes. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
for people to play, and it looks good from a spectator
Mhm.
standpoint. So, like, we want to try and get that out of other game modes. We could have fun. We're considering running big fun events like that too, where we have those team elim self destruct scenarios and just seeing how they go. But we definitely got past this first big hump of getting everyone involved, getting people to believe in the concept, like Boo is saying, this proof of concept. And I think
Yeah.
now we have a million options in front of us, and all we have to do is just get
Not
involved
fuck it
and
up.
not screw it up, get the work done, which is pretty easy. Set up an event in Discord nowadays. You don't have to like go contact a million people. And if everyone's
Yeah.
interested, they'll click interested and they'll they'll want to do these events or whatever. And well, like I said, we already have a lot of teams. I'm gonna go off my hand here. I think we do already have 16 teams that have like basically expressed interest to me for our second
Mhm.
tournament already. So
They have,
I
yeah.
think we have really bright future. A
Yeah,
lot of good options.
it's a good time to really get this together, I think, too, with the way the game's coming together. There's going to be, I think, a lot more traffic coming in over the next year. So, I mean, I definitely, you guys are doing an amazing job. So, but just one quick idea. So how about if it's like a landed ship and the second ship comes in and they board by dropping them through the top or something,
Like a
right?
drop ship.
Yeah,
kind of
you could do
scenario.
something like
See,
that.
I would love that.
On ships over.
Yeah.
That would be
we've
that
been,
would be badass.
dude, that's what I'm saying. It's so wild how much flexibility that free flight gives you. You could literally just die and respawn in another ship and have your teammates spawn in there with you and go do the dropship stuff with your FPS gear already on. You know why?
Yeah.
Man, it's like
Mhm.
actually crazy. I think it's a gold mine of content and stuff in general. And I think the fact that we are just, I think we're the first people tapping into it, but I think the fact that we've done it so well right off the bat and so many people are involved who have been a part of the community for years, it just shows a lot of promise in general for the whole entire league and the community around it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I actually do have a question in chat. This is the first one. Let me bring it up. So VCR asks, why do they call it shoutcasting if you aren't shouting? Real question. They called it shoutcasting when I was doing competition in other games. So why do you think they call it that? I would say
It's
I don't have an
funny.
answer for that.
Yeah, it's funny that you asked that too, because I remember when Dead
Mhm.
started bringing up the chance to do shoutcasting.
I'm just like, what
on
the
it.
hell is that?
I had no idea what that
meant.
meant. I didn't know what shoutcasting was, and I was like, "So what is that? Like they're gonna stream it to like some other Twitch? Like is that the name of the Twitch is shoutcasting?" I had no idea, so I
It's a new
definitely couldn't help you with
platform
that.
is for streaming. It's called Shoutcast, so you can use that now instead of Twitch and get more revenue that way. Second question, actually, this is probably a good one to ask. It's less memey, and less us talking. How often do you guys plan to have tournaments in the future?
I mean, like off my head, I would just say that we want to get through this first tournament, right? And I think we did get through the hardest part of running it with the initial 3 weeks in a row of 2 games each. So last
Mhm.
week is was originally one game. Now we're going to try and get the second one in, which since we did so well in the other one, why not do this as well? And I think it's pretty manageable.
Yeah.
But with the private lobbies, like I said, we need to figure out what works and what doesn't, what options they give us, and once they do that, we're going to try and get a hold of everyone post 3.23, maybe a month after 3.23 would be like a roster submission, just tentatively, because what if 3.23 runs really bad? What if private lobbies are broken? What if there's a major bug in free flight? Which
Yep.
I'm going to say this right now, and it's a funny story. I told people that and when we were setting up this tournament, there was a bug in free flight that made the tournament almost unplayable. And I told people that if CIG fixed that bug, that I would go concierge. And they did
Mhm.
fix that bug in 5 days. And
You're
I
telling
bought
me
a
that-
Hornet MK2 and a bunch of other stuff and went concierge. I was like, all right, buddy. All right.
Oh man.
Yeah, I
So you're
was
telling me
really
that in
excited
order to
to
actually
hold you
get
to
like
that.
proper like fixes, you have to spend money.
No. I was,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. What were you gonna say, Boo? By the way. What
Oh
were you
no,
gonna
I
say,
was
Boo?
just because I was one. I reached out to the devs and like let them know about this weird bug that was preventing this, and it was essentially
Yeah.
if you die and then respawn, your camera is bugged out, and then they fixed it,
Oh.
4 or 5 days later, and
Mhm.
then Heim had to go concierge.
There you go.
I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of my word.
Well, the other thing. So this is the first time you guys are setting this up, right? And so, like, it's the same thing with like our podcast. Like, in this podcast, it's a lot of work when you're initially getting it off the ground, and then what I'm thinking, it's going to be easy for you guys to do like future events because you've kind of worked through a lot of these bugs and how to put it together and all that.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
We have
Oh man, rolling with the punches is something that we definitely did. Boo was saying the scheduling, and sorry to interrupt, Elder, but
no, you're good.
quick thought. Boo was saying the scheduling was like a big part of it, and I think another big part of it is showing this proof of concept to people, because people just genuinely didn't know. There was not a lot of people who use this or anything, and they didn't know it was this accessible and this easy and fun to do. So I see a lot of other people doing it now, which is great. I'm happy that everyone else gets to enjoy the game in the same way we were when we first found, LR first found it, I first found it, Boo first found it. So it's I just think that making sure that we recreate that is the most important thing. So I lost my train of thought there, but if I remember it,
Well,
I'll
and
go.
also if you want to do this, the Discord is set up not just for tournaments, but for scrims and
For
pickup
scrimmage,
games.
yeah.
So,
I was just gonna say
you know,
that has been happening a lot throughout the week. I've noticed
yeah,
that.
several
They'll
nights a week
just
we've got 10 plus
yeah.
guys in there
hmm
absolutely just running
Which
scrims. They're different orgs are getting slammed onto different teams, and it's just kind of a hodgepodge of 5v5, and then off you go.
yeah, it's really refreshing to see a lot of interest in the FPS part of the game. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that affects the interest just overall, and bringing in new faces that necessarily haven't done that before. Whether it be people that really focus more on dogfighting or industrial gameplay, it doesn't matter. Next
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, go ahead
Yeah,
with the question.
I was going to say, next question that I have is, have you guys thought about looking for sponsors in game or IRL?
I don't think so yet, just because we wanted to make sure we could do this first.
Yeah, that
So
makes sense.
my plan, was to kind of hold off on that. I think getting the structure in place is the biggest thing, because when you look for and the only reason I say this is I have experience kind of trying to pitch to sponsors when I was doing the Mech Warrior thing, and we did end up getting a mouse sponsor that was at the time a big mouse when it first came out. The guy kind of quit doing it, so it is what it is. But um,
Yeah.
the whole pitch process was basically, you need to make it really accessible for people to see and easy to understand, and they need to see the numbers and see how well it's put together, right? And they want to see
Yep.
consistency out of it. So the goal is to get through this first tournament, take things like that PAX versus Phoenix operations highlight reel, maybe nail, if we nail this final stream with a third place game and the first place game, and we could show these things to people, and they will be a lot more motivated, to sponsor something like this and be way more interested in working with us than if we said, hey, come watch this stream. It's
Yeah.
just they want to use their time. I understand it. That anyone would want to use their time more wisely and just have something right then and there to view, and maybe they'll come and watch it and see that it works again, and that'll be how you get them in the door. And I think that's a lot more it's a lot less work on our end on the pitching process, because it's already done in the streaming and the videos that we would throw in with the pitch. So it's coming, but I think getting the structure in place was the first thing.
Yeah. What another question that actually just popped up? What
The
map would you replace, and with what ship?
I would replace the reclaimer with anything viable that isn't the reclaimer the second we have it in the PU.
Yeah. You guys looking forward to the possibility of having a Polaris? That's going to be a fun ship to race.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Because
You know.
ultimately, the downfall of the reclaimer is there's no paths in the reclaimer that are really able to overlap into
Mhm.
another section of the reclaimer. So
Right.
your main hallway with captain and crew and kitchen that then goes into drone room, there's no elevators or traversal to go up from one area and then down or up and then across and actually come in from behind without leaving the ship.
Mhm.
Which actually isn't that good for FPS, because it just forces both teams into a little bottleneck kill zone in a hallway, and it's whoever wins that wins that.
Yeah.
Versus the 890 jump with its 4 elevators and ladders, and you can go up 2 floors and then drop down a ladder next to you behind somebody and stuff like that. But yeah, the
Yeah, that's
Polaris, I think any of those
Yeah,
other bigger ships,
I
Merchant
think
Man might be
I
great even, who
I'm
knows?
I'm kind of interested in seeing how the Idris plays more than the Polaris.
Mhm.
From what I remember with the Polaris, it had more of a centralized hallway thing going on. Um, but
S-
I might be
so actually,
wrong.
I can talk from personal experience. I remember the event going down, and then I boarded the ship using a Razor EX with ballistics, landed onto the actual like hangar, and then there were two entrances on each side, and they actually led up kind of into the same area, which was really cool because it creates this really nice choke point, but it gives additional options for the players if they wanted to like take a different route, and that might even actually allow more options for like say you want to do a 7v7 or a 6v6, right, where you have more individuals in those firefight teams to hold down certain areas to kind of extend how the match kind of plays out. Unless there was anything else you guys wanted to add to this, here's one from Lord Kamak for a question.
It's a good
Lord
one. I
Kamak.
like this one.
He says, when your tournament gets big, will you be scripted like the NFL?
Huh?
I am really hoping for MLP XFL in Star Citizen. That's what we're gonna do. It's just gonna be bear helmets and underwear.
The XFL. Oh my goodness.
We're gonna have personalities like Stone Cold Steve Austin and stuff. That frag's gonna be Vince McMahon.
Yeah, there's a few wrestling personalities out there already.
So what you're telling me is when they actually get VoIP working in game for AC, they're going to be yelling at each other with this like vocoded like voice, and they'll just be talking shit, and then the actual round will begin before that. That sounds really
yeah,
hard.
brother.
Let's not do that.
I was just happy with what VCR put together. That was the most like NFL type of thing we've had. It was just like that was fantastic.
Oh, it was
And,
great.
huge shout out. I know we already gave a shout out to VCR, but this man did so much. Like, I remember hanging out with him the night before. He was up until like 2 a.m., maybe 3 a.m. his time, just trying to get panels working. We were just testing stuff out. And then the day of, I'll have to wait to give another shout out for him. The day after, like the day of the actual tournament, he was putting together stuff, and it was just some of the stuff he put together was actually really, really, really cool. Something I do want to do is I want to, if it's cool with you guys, share some of the content from yesterday. This would be on my channel. The VOD's unlisted. I gotta fix that. Had this issue where I forgot that some of the stuff was like some of the audio was still playing in the background, so it was a little bit goofy.
Am I too premature on the switch there?
Oh, yep. Were you?
Yeah, I did. I switched over.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's okay. Let me get the semifinals up. We'll share this. Yeah. And let me make sure that this is the sharing tab. Share this tab instead. So you did a lot of like switchboard work. Is that working? Is that proper sized?
Looks perfect.
Yeah. All right, cool. So there was one panel, especially
it's muted,
like
though.
the last. It is. The balcony.
P6
Very nice kill. This is the switching. Pretty killing Proto. Who did Trollmode kill? Is it on Starfare? This is
I believe Trollmode got Rudy right there.
Oh, very nice.
Oh,
it was actually the last match, I believe, on the character that really, or no, it was Reclaimer. That's what it was. That had a lot of great dynamics. He had split screen going a couple times there as well.
Trollmode had a quad kill on the Reclaimer.
He did. Yeah, you're right. Where was that?
That crew push. It was that. That's why. That's a part of why the Reclaimer is. I mean, and I'm not discounting Trollmode.
Here it is.
Yep. He's a great player, man. Get that. Yeah, if you got that 4K.
This
but that crew is so hard to push. Look at it.
The first location. Correct? Yeah, this whole location is very defensible in the first place. I think this is from LR's perspective. I could be wrong on that. Better forget the rules on that. I'll have to double check that.
Yeah, like, did they pick this? Because like, this is a very hard Howlers to transfer.
That's what I was saying earlier. This damn hamster
got a good angle on the back hall. So he was getting back up and working. I think this is actually where it starts. We've got Howlers in the coming front, like through the
LR is just holding angles, man.
They got some really good angles. Look at this position.
Holding 90s.
F55. Yeah, 2 LR in the office, and then 1 down or 3, I think, in the actual habitations. So when Howlers pushed, it would push from behind, and then just wipe them out right there.
Yeah, this is why I don't like this map.
Watching that elevator come back up. can bring it forward just.
Oh man, this is so cool to watch. I love the split screen.
And
it's
pushing.
great.
I do too. Yeah. I got to figure out some resolution sizes.
So here on the left, we got Howlers on the right, and then we have LR holding angles on the
compared
left.
to like what the actual feed.
Great shot by the way.
PCR was the other day.
It's hard to hear.
Right now,
if they want
LR's just playing the waiting
Hey,
game.
it's hard to hear you over the video.
Yeah, because they don't need to be aggressive.
So turn it down.
Yeah,
like
I
that. Is that better?
To produce.
For sure.
Down.
Yeah,
they
for
just
sure.
need to hold it down.
There you go.
Exactly.
Right now, it looks like we have roughly 2 minutes left on the clock, so they need to act fast.
It's really cool. Yeah, the split screen is cool.
Go in there, man.
The split screen is
God's
great.
blazing
And at some point, we'll get like a 4-panel sorted out a little bit more. I think they're there. I really like it too because it's not super tiny and you can actually see a lot of the details.
I do believe there were some in the office
perspective here
across the hall.
So this is
they're just waiting for them
push.
to.
That is such a
That is awesome. That switch.
the back.
I got.
Oh, bad toss from the grenade.
Yeah, you got to open the door first. You didn't get in distance to open it.
You know
Yeah,
what?
it's tough.
I'd
There's
probably
an
just mute
animation
the
where you
video.
pull the grenade and then actually lob it in. Oh, there it goes.
It's just-
in the room, man.
It's making my
really
my head hurt.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that, Elder.
No, it's
And then
because
this is where they actually push. Doors open.
So how was the performance of the grenades? They were all good, or were they? It looks like they're all locked there, right?
Blow up in anybody's hands. Look at that. 3 mode down right there. Troll mode just like taking out like everyone.
God, it's so good.
It's just a slaughter.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's the
icons that are
icons.
bugging out.
Okay.
Yep, exactly that.
So you get stuck with the icon, but the grenade blew up.
Yeah, the grenades
Exactly,
work
yeah.
fine. I mean, they
pretty
don't
much-
really do any damage.
Yeah,
It's more
that's
like
what-
just ragdolling people around, but one.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what they don't do damage?
What they do is
do
they
you
kind
think
of
that
like
has to do with the
knock you
increased
back. They knock
TTK?
you back essentially.
Okay,
What's
so there's still use for them, but is it like? Do you think it's not really doing damage because they increased the TTK?
I think I'm trying to remember.
know.
You guys might help me out here. Did they adjust the TTK values also in AC, or was it just in the PU? Because I remember that the grenades would just push a player back and stun lock them, kind of like Lord Kamak just said.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember because the grenades have been bugged for so long. You know, we all
Mhm.
remember like you'd throw a grenade and then it would just appear back in your hand. So I don't know when they stopped actually doing proper damage to other people.
So
Yeah.
basically, back in 3.19, there was a period of time where or even before then, I think 3.17, it goes back and forth. Sometimes the grenades would stick in your hands and I would never touch them. And then some patches I start throwing them. I'm like, oh my God, it's coming out of my hands. And then the next patch, it's sticking in my hand again. I'm like, whatever, man. You know, you just got to roll with the punches. So like, I remember back in like 3.18, 3.19, they were kind of reliable and you could cook them. You know, it was a long timer before they would explode, but they were reliable. You could cook the grenades and you could throw them and they would insta kill people.
Oh yeah, that's a necessity. I feel like being able to cook
and
them.
yeah, now they shorten the timer, so it's a lot harder to cook them, but they act more like normal grenades in other games. Sure. I prefer the cooking stuff personally. I think it's a lot more fun. But
yeah,
you know, they did that TTK change, right? And now they only do like 30% damage to you or something, 40%. It's not a lot. You know, you could literally sit there and get hit by like 4 grenades before you're about to die. So which is a little unrealistic in my opinion, but
I guess I mean, you would imagine a grenade would be a pretty deadly thing, right? Even if they have like this futuristic armor, you would expect that the grenade would raise to the level that it would need to penetrate the armor anyway. So
yeah, and I think because they were lethal back then, like I was saying, I think that whole knocking people back and stunning them for that period, I think that's actually a newer thing that with the new TTK. I don't, you know, because before it would happen before, but you were just more likely to die if you were right next to a grenade. I got a bunch of clips of it still. So I just, you know, I think that was this whole using grenades as a way to stun people is definitely a newer method of playing the game because of the TTK changes for sure. I mean, it works really well in the league matches. So
Well, it's good that
Yeah.
it has an actual use, you know.
Yeah, in the league matches, it makes more sense because you're actually with the person there the entire time. They're not, desynced halfway across the, surface of some moon because you trying to shoot at them as you're like hitting them. The shots aren't actually like registering. Whereas, you have better performance in, free flight, and then everything's actually, connecting as it should.
They do intend on adding stun grenades and things like that too. I think I saw something about that recently. I don't
Yeah,
I
like
don't
a
know anytime
taser.
soon, but what?
Like a taser, I believe, something of that sort. They even have like the handcuffs and all that stuff, kind of like they have the assets for it. It's
Oh
just
no,
they
I
haven't
meant an
added it
actual
yet.
grenade though. I'm pretty sure I saw something about that. That like they I mean I'm sure I can't imagine there
Mhm.
wouldn't be right anyway. But I remember seeing something about that recently. I don't remember where. It's probably on my news and info channel.
Yeah. All right. With that being said, guys, I think I'm just gonna make sure that we shout out the MLP Discord. It should be the pin post up there, actually.
I was gonna say if you're about to end, I want to leave the stream on note.
I'm sorry, you're like in and out.
Oh, I want to leave the. Are you saying we're about to end stream? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you're not. Am I the only one getting it choppy
No,
like that?
No, I
saying
can't. He's very choppy for some
it's very
reason right
choppy.
now.
If you could type it into Discord, I'll relay your message. That's about all I can do. I'm sorry, Heim.
Hello?
Nope, still the same.
Do
It's
you
not
want
working.
to?
Yeah, just DM me on Discord and I'll say what you're about to say. We are considering a rebrand. Just so I think the whole idea behind that was because you were talking about the idea of making it more of an inclusive name for the entire FPS community. It wasn't just like piracy, orgs that were allowed to like play.
Oh yeah,
Piracy's too scary to some people.
yeah, but it's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, whatever. I mean, hey, whatever you guys decide to do, right? I mean, it's cool.
MLB theme
Yeah, it
song,
is
right?
pretty cool. Every time I see it though, I think baseball.
Mhm.
Right? I think
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
I mean, even
intention
the
of the.
logo has like the colors and everything
Yeah,
else. Yeah.
yeah. I think that was the
And
intent to kind of give that, kind of like it's almost like to have that feel to it in a sense.
And
Yeah.
really,
So-
like whatever we call it, it's still sort of piracy, right? Like the attacking team's entire mission is to infiltrate and then take control of the defending team's vessel, which is really the ultimate thing half of us FPS players really want to do in this game anyways, is just, be like a 40k Space Marine or a Halo Spartan, get dropped onto a ship and just chew through it and get to, take it over.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Right.
I'm sorry, I'm just
But
reading chat.
so early on, a rebranding wouldn't be so bad. I would think. If you guys did
I
that.
think if you did it like a few like months or a few years after you just had started, it might throw a couple people off. But I think it's early enough where doing that isn't gonna, impact it too much. It's actually not a bad idea. Then just want to throw these out there. And then there's the MLP Discord as well. If you guys would check those out, I'd appreciate it. Huge thanks to both Heim and Booberry for setting aside a little bit of time this evening, guys. Thanks for joining. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Mhm.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I hope to see you.
No, it's okay, dude. That happens with the mic. Let's go find someone to raid. If you guys have any suggestions, let's try to keep it in kind of the vein of like PvP if we have that option. I do see someone.
I am glad that Heimdelight's mic held out until the very end, though. So it worked out pretty well, right? Right at the end, it started getting. So that's fine.
Yeah, that does happen. You know what? I do see, if you're cool with this, Elder, I see Chanchi's on. He's playing Star Citizen. Can we send you guys over to Chanchi?
Yeah, I'm
He's a
good with that,
PvPer.
of course.
He's doing some piracy tonight. So let me get a quick raid started here.
Yeah, and we shot out the Discords and everything. Yeah, we did.
Yep. Already got it.
Be sure to join Grim42's Discord as well. But otherwise, I just wanted to throw it out there again. But like, you guys are doing an amazing job. I think it's really cool what you're doing, and Yeah, I would love to see this like blow up. I'm glad you've had like some of the devs and watching, like actually watching it. Like that would be exciting for me. I'd be stoked.
Yeah, we were super stoked. I'm trying to get the devs to put together like a team themselves and come scrim us, or maybe partake in one of these, like the next tournament. I know they're real excited to see what we do in 3.23
Oh, that'd
when
be
that goes
cool.
live.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, working. Oh, sorry.
Could you get the CIG killer tag from doing one of those rounds? Just asking for a friend.
Yeah, probably.
Another RAM Discord does that, so.
Yeah,
definitely. I would definitely say try to work in that Atmo like drop off. You know what I mean? That would be so cool to see.
Devs versus
oh man,
reps.
I would love that.
I'm down.
Yeah,
I'm down to kill some devs anytime. I've already killed a couple in the past, so if we could find them a little bit easier, I'd do it more often. But that's about all I think we're gonna say. Let's go back to a standby again. Huge thank you guys for joining, everybody for popping out and just showing some support for the PvP community tonight. Tonight, words are hard, and we're gonna send you guys over to Chanchi. You take care and have a great night, guys.
have a good night, guys.